Everyone in Western culture is said to be for sale. Obviously, I'm not, and that is part of why I'm targeted. So in this video, we're going to talk about females and how they've adopted a prostitute culture. Okay. First of all, remember women used to wear heels in Rome, prostitutes, to help show off their goods. Okay. And in our society, some of the females who are seen as more classy wear heels. Okay. Also, the butchers would wear heels, right? Females show cleavage, the cleavage. And that men are butchered because they don't have the moral principle, the moral toughness, the moral will, the moral courage to focus on doing the right thing and putting the spirit of righteousness in God first. So what ends up happening is they can't contain themselves, their desire to survive, their desire to sex, address their complexes and so on. So, pretty much all the wars we've seen, Western wars, everything can be chopped up to this idea of men being butchered for women, right? All these rapes, millions and millions of rapes in World War II and so on and so forth. Okay, so once we understand this, and we understand the Western foundation, quickly I'm going to go through some mythological ideas. Apollo is said to represent all, O is the reproductive cycle. Okay, Pan, backwards nap, pawn, all, right, to pawn, the Greco-Roman deities, right? And the peasants pawning, taking on their ideas. Okay, kind of a cheap pawned version of it, We have Hera is said to preside over marriages, okay? We have Aphrodite, who puts Psyche in a trance. Psyche was put in a trance. Psychology, psychiatry. The idea is all females are in a trance. Pan backwards is nap. Eros, Cupid, right? They shoot you with arrows. They inject you with things. Alchemical stir in the atmosphere. An alchemical mixture, which is said to, basically chemistry and where they believe it has some kind of divine principles. It's called garbage. They are said to create females who are in a trance, in a daze, who are fixated on their complexes and surviving and the social norms and being normal and being cool, right? School backwards is looks. Church is a play on words for course. And we can go on and on. Okay. So we have all these deities. Hecate, aka Persephone or Proserpina, and on and on and on. All these deities are basically witch deities, so to speak, right? They're whores that help create the greater prostitute culture. Once you understand this, it pretty much don't need to, nothing else really needs to be said. I've already proved my point. All females are for sale, and they have a cultural price tag when they don't have an obvious money-based price tag. And the culture is basically whoring yourself to the greater society, Babylon system, which has all the cultures that they allow. Okay, so if you don't take on a culture that is allowed, you can't have an attractive female. Okay, and almost all of them have a very straightforward price tag. If you drive a nice car, you have a lot of money, you can have an attractive female. This culture does not allow for love. Love is an alpha idea of completely manning up in the true spirit of God and then showing women that love, and then she falls in love with you. That's the only way love can come. Manning up in the true spirit of God, which comes down through the martial art order, showing women love, and then they fall in love with you. Okay, so remember, the foundation of Western culture is chaos and anarchy. These are beta ideas, set, the principles of evil, sexual immorality, confusion, the storms. This is the foundation. Orpheus had it right in terms of what the foundation of the Western culture is. Okay. So, no bad tree can bear good fruit. Western culture, with all due respect, has the foundation of set, according to their own historians. Should my video be banned because I point out what their own historians point out? How sick is that? Many would say yes, because they are crazed. They don't man up. Stupid versus evil. Stupid is, oh my gosh, he's right. I'm going to change my ways, right? They're too stupid to see it before. Evil is, shut him up, acting like bitches. This is the response we see. So not only do their own historians say their foundation is evil, and their own, in a predominantly Christian culture, mind you, no one ever came up with a viable counter-argument for no bad tree can bear good fruit. But then we see the expected response from evil people. They don't say people like him are right, let's change our ways. They start whining and acting petty and immature. And you look at the Hercules series that used to be on TV, right? The Greek gods are said to be petty and cruel. So remember, Pan and Pon, Pan means all, Pas means all, Apollo, Ap-all-o. Hell is a play on words for all. H, the fence, Apollo is symbolized by a fence. His name means fence. And all, right? Remove the E, you get all. Hell, all. Okay? When Saturn was split open, okay, when Saturn vomited, swallowed the pharmakeia in the stone, and the gods were released. Okay? Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus are said to have split the earth. Zeus got the sky. Right? Who you look up to? Zeus got the sky. Poseidon got the water, and Hades got the underworld. The underworld, when you raise hell, is the world. But more importantly, from the beginning, you have those you look up to, right? Everyone in the Greco-Roman system is in the labyrinth of earth. The sky is who you look up to. The show, show you who's cool, who you aspire to be like. The stars, the celebrities, all the scum. All stars, Converse all stars. Okay. The waters is travel, maritime admiralty law. Travel. Who gets to travel and colonize the world? The pirates, the trade routes through the seas, and so on and so forth. The invasion forces, the colonists as they travel through the sea. Remember, Apollo is said to authorize it, and this science and technology is the main way that they accomplish these things. Okay. And the underworld is basically just the world. Who is under the people you look up to? Okay, who are basically withdrawn from society in some bubble community somewhere. So as you go through the city, you kind of see these guys once in a while. The majority of people are basically controlled by the devil. Okay, and the biggest devil of all is Lucifer, the people you look up to. So these are three applications of the devil's main kind of energy. And what allows them to accomplish it is Apollo and Hermes, Hermaphrodite, the Baphomet, okay, and Mercury. Okay, it's pretty much that simple. Okay, Western culture's foundation is the demos, the satanic people, demon, demos, D-E-I-M-O-S, the deity of terror. So terrorism, Satanism, evilness, petty, cruel, bad tree, according to their own philosophy, they're all sinners, according to their own Western Christianity. And the pagans, obviously, by their actions, scream that they're sinners who are cheating you, con artists, and so on and so forth. All right, so what we see is they're addicted, they're shallow, they're childish, they're immature. Okay, they're cowards, they're evil, and they're disassociated. They are encouraged to use their pussy power, right? Which means they're forcé. Attractive women can pretty much have sex with any guy they want. They can pretty much date any guy they want is the general rule of thumb. It is the guys that settle. Okay, the attractive, less than rich men settle. Attractive, less than rich women pretty much can take small steps and get the kind of clothes they want and get fucking any guy they want. So for this reason, females can't be players. If something is handed to you, how are you a player? How are you smart and clever and playing the game with the best of them? If all you have to do is go to a bar and wink at a guy and you can get into a rich guy's pocket, it's not the same thing. Pussy power means you can't be a player, but you can only be a whore. Okay. All right, so they're too immature to correct themselves. They avoid the argument. And what we expect to see when these things are pointed out is some people whispering, don't. Some people say, how rude, and getting all mad, and some people going crazy, fucking, shut him up, because these people are evil. They're addicted, shallow, childish, immature, cowardly, disassociated. They're crazed. They're evil. Okay? The system output is evil. The expected output of the Western system, as it goes from myth to the philosophers to Christianity to the modern Western cultures, is evil. There isn't a single culture that is allowed in the West or in the world in general, really, because of colonialism, and the comprador elites, right? These families that have made alliances with the colonists who continued, who pretended they were liberated and free. There isn't the culture in the world that is an evil that is allowed. Okay, that's why I'm being screened out. Yeah. Colonialism, RNA. Because of RNA, patriarchal gene expression, right? We see people who are fixated on Western domination. What angles do the minorities play? They play the white man's angle. Look at their car made by a white company. Look at their clothes given to them by Westerners. Listen to their music given to them by Western corporations, Jews, whites. Okay? Look at the language they speak. It is English, folks. It is English. Okay? They're fixated on Western domination, and the women judge the men by how well assimilated they are in the West. Okay? If they're a gangster, right? They're playing the Western game. If they're the typical token minority, they're at a Western corporation. Yeah. We see the complexes are a result of the RNA. They pass down the complexes of the gods as being petty, cruel, addicted, shallow, childish, immature, evil, disassociated, cowardly. Right? They don't have moral courage. If it's not moral courage, who cares what it is? You're just a dick-hard, crazed fuck doing something stupid. If it's not moral courage, it is not courage. If it is not moral intelligence, it is not intelligence.
Are you coming with us?
Yes, I'm very good. All right. So let me just shoot through this. As usual, I have to make these in the morning. There's a long reason why that is. It's being fumed, and the light comes to the window, and so on and so forth. So people can say, oh, he's a dark side view, And it's kind of cloudy day, so there's not that much light coming in. Anyway, so they're hell-bent to survive and cover up the African martial art order that ends with me. This is part of the RNA expression. You have two kinds of minorities, generally speaking. Those with the white man's RNA expression. Okay? There's tons of mixed people, African Americans themselves, Hispanics, and so on and so forth. And then you have those who are just naturally cowards, who are fair weather people. Whoever's winning, that's their side. Okay? And this has to do with colonialism. Who was left behind? Who's the survivor, right? The craftsman survivors, okay, who survive, veer away from whatever cultural values they had, and accept the white man's cultural values. And those, who pretty much were crooks already within their own cultures, who quickly made a deal with them and were just concerned with getting the hot chicks that would go to the warriors that they couldn't otherwise have. I'm running out of time, so let me shoot this. So what is a hooker? She's worldly. She feels at home in this devil culture, right? She walks around and she's like, she doesn't feel embarrassed. She's not shy. She's extroverted. She has heels, okay? She has makeup. She feels empowered. All right. She also has a Western movement and energy. This is key. Hephaestus is said to create new motions. He was a deity of crafts. And of course, you make armor, you make clothes, you make shoes. It changes the movement, right? Movement in heels. She walks like a corporate lady with heels, a corporate female with heels. She has a cultural price tag. What you see is an intentional uniformity in our society with the worldly energy, the gender-neutral demonic energy, demos energy, demon energy. Okay, remember, demos, democracy. It's an intentional demon energy. There's no nobility that is allowed to be elevated as such. They're just peasants who have been placed there for the show. Okay, we see the intentional uniformity and the blocking of the Spirit of God. When a prostitute walks, just like when a Western female walks, it is to say, it is telling God to shoo. The alpha, righteous Spirit of God to shoo. No, for fuck's sake. Okay, fine. I'll end it right fucking there.